What is your favorite anime?
Mine's Skrillex.
Skrillex.
I'm so distanced from human sensibilities and stuff.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
Put your tray tables up and your seat in the full upright position, because this is the Flight Plan, the official podcast, the big guy for you scanlations, Japan's #1 Bane posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Nathan, as we bants about all the anime, all the manga, and all that scanlation content. What are we talking about today, Tom?
Teleports behind you, unsheaths katana, whips out my nunchakus. We're talking about the manga translation battle. I hope you came ready for a fight.
I am, man. I've been pre-gaming in Fortnite. I am ready for that battle royale.
Excellent.
Of all the weeaboos.
So you know how to floss, you know how to dab. You sound like you're ready.
Dude, I've been dabbing since it started 2 months ago.
Excellent, beautiful. Actually, when did dabbing start? It's got to be like at least 2 years, right?
I want to say 12. I want to say 2012.
That old
is when the early versions of dabbing. Yeah, it actually came from like a Soulja Boy era rap video. I'm pretty sure, but
really,
yeah, I think it's like a rap thing.
I could see that. Like the Soulja Boy, or no, the Superman.ho.
Exactly.
That came from Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
Or the Stanky Leg.
What about the Crank Dat?
Oh yeah, Crank Dat, back and forth, whatever it is. Well,
Japan's #1 hip hop podcast.
Very much so. And in the vein of shameful stuff, I do have a shameful confession to make in regards to today's correction corner. I had like 3 or 4 different corrections corner notes, except I left them at work and I don't know what they were. I don't remember.
Oh.
So that might have to wait until next week. So like I do all my show notes and my show prep at work during downtime, and I just forgot to bring the paper with me.
Well, we can tell that your boss is getting his excellent value out of you on work.
I mean, I do it in between, tasks. I don't shirk on my duties, but I do have a lot of downtime.
You know what they say, the boss makes $1 and I make a dime. That's why I shitpost on company time.
That's pretty good. I've never heard that, but I guess they do say it, whoever they is, and they might be right for it.
You know who that is?
What's that?
That's our rival podcast, Chapo Trap House.
I've never listened to Chapo Trap House, and I probably disavow. I don't want to get political.
I disavow too.
Unless they want to pay us. I hear they get $100,000 on Patreon every month.
Every episode, yeah, dude. That's crazy.
Every episode, not every month.
It might be every month, but who cares when you're making like that? And they only do like 1 episode a week. Did you know that? Like, it's not even like.
Well, that's normal.
Yeah.
That's the normal podcast rate.
If every passenger donated $10,000, we do an episode.
Yep, that old chestnut.
Yeah, we do 2 episodes a week.
Yeah, you know what? I would commit to that. Yeah. And segueing into my Sudoku segment, I would even put out 2 chapters a week. I would dedicate myself to that. That transitions me into talking about the fact that this is a scanlation group ostensibly, but I haven't put out a chapter in like maybe a month at this point. I don't know.
Ooh, that's bad. To be fair, I haven't put out clips I put out one last week. I put out the Manga Minute, and that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel though that the whole crux of this is I feel as though the scanlation group is the core of the Big Guy Productions, and for me to be slacking on that, I feel extra bad about it.
It seems like Bane posting is our main draw of people. I don't even think people, like, nobody's read Tsurugi no Nai or anything else. They just come here for...
Oh, certainly. Well, hopefully, and I said this last week, but hopefully this time, by the time this episode is out, I think it's probably a Monday evening release for this episode.
Possibly.
Would you say?
Possibly.
I think I will do my best to commit to getting the chapter out by then. It's a new series, so I don't have that weekly pressure to get a new chapter out every week, and it's so hard. And first chapters are always like the biggest pain and a half to do, just because you need terminology, you need to get the world set, and I hate them, but it should be smooth sailing afterwards. And that's really all I have for Sudoku. So I think I'm up to 3, and I think you're sitting at 4. You're still a bigger suicider, so that's okay. I mean, as long as I'm winning in that regard. That's my goal.
You know, I don't know where the spreadsheet is that calculates and tallies all this, but I don't know about. I think I'll have to re-listen to all the episodes and make sure that I'm actually up to 4. I don't believe that. No, because
I trust my memory.
Because I've done several redemptions.
You cannot redeem a Sudoku.
Yes, I did. It was the week after, or it was. No,
that's the whole point, because it's so shameful that you have to kill yourself. You can't unkill yourself.
Well, I got an extra life.
Come on, this isn't a video game. This is real life. This is serious stuff.
Video games were last week's episode, which is a great segue into the comments corner. If you're done with if you're done with killing yourself.
Yeah, go ahead.
Devin Jackson pops in and he says, Conception 2 was a game that I wanted for cute anime girl reasons, but now that I'm older, these waifus are subpar to the absolute goldmine of waifus that we have, like cough, Buette, cough. It's also $20, I think. And it is now on 3DS, and it used to be $60. Nintendo games very rarely ever go down in price from retail, which is kind of annoying.
That's very true. There's a YouTube video that YouTube has been recommending to me off and on for like 2 months now about that exact topic, how Nintendo games never go on discount. I haven't watched it, and I never will. But YouTube wants me to. I
try not to watch ones that YouTube recommends, which is surprising because
half the time they're good.
It's surprising that I'm not getting that one because it seems like we always have the same recommended videos.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to the YouTube heads or higher ups, and I'll have them make sure that you see it.
Exactly. Well, Devin also says that he said he heard the word JRPG and he says Chrono Trigger intensifies in bold. Like I have a confession. I've never played Chrono Trigger.
Well, you've never played anything of high quality and high acclaim.
So I guess by that response, you've played it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I've played through it a few times. Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh, a few times.
Oh yeah, it's one of those games that encourages you to replay it. There's like 16 different endings.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I do remember what it looks like, and I know there's some wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey type of stuff going on, but
yeah, it's all about time travel. And like most JRPGs, especially I feel like of the era, the aesthetics are pretty top notch, but the music is like god tier. Like the JRPG music has such a high ceiling, and so many of them like reach it. It's amazing. Like, JRPG music's my favorite genre of music, probably, if I had to commit.
You are the type of dude that unironically just listens to JRPG music on his iPod.
Pretty much. I mean, to the extent that I listen to music recreationally, that's definitely a high go-to. I've been listening a lot to the Octopath Traveler OST. I've never played the game, other than a brief bit of the demo. But the music's great. You know, in Valkyria Chronicles, when it came out, like 10 years ago or whenever, I listen to that soundtrack all the time, and I'm finally playing it now for the first time.
I've been playing it too. I know this isn't Japanese games, but
for me it is.
It is such a hard game. Like, it's actually really difficult.
Yeah. I think we're both stupid, because I don't think it's a hard game. I think we're just bad at it.
Like, I'm over-leveled for it, and I don't know, it seems like early on, like, they made a lot of the levels difficult. Like, the first big tank bosses, I still have to go play it.
That was stupid. That was such a stupid fight. I got angry at that.
And then once I got down how to kill the actual tank, and I was like, okay, I just got one more weak spot to shoot, the cavalry comes in with a laser beam super death cannon and will one-shot your dudes.
Options.
Yeah.
Yeah. She ran across the whole map and just killed all my guys.
Exactly.
It was terrible.
Oh my god, yeah. And it's like, it's not balanced when they have all the move points and you don't. Like, anyway, this is that. But we'll keep on the video game thing. Devin also says the only Mega Man game that he's ever owned was the DS Mega Man Star Force 3 Black Ace and Red Joker. Those, I'm pretty sure, are the Battle Network games, like the new ones.
Well, they're like the successor, the spiritual successor, where they were kind of like almost first person, but it was pretty much the same battle system, as I understand it, as the Battle Network games.
I actually downloaded that I bought it officially and played it for just a little bit. I love the, he says every armor in that game was a mwah. He's got the, the emotes for that. But I absolutely agree. The armors were awesome. Yeah. And I think there's also one where it was like a dragon or an eagle type of tiger or something, like you had some animal things.
That was a Battle Network, I'm pretty sure. I think that was Battle Network 6.
Was it?
I haven't played it. I only played 3 and 4 and maybe a little bit of 2.
I really want to go back and play them now. He got me itching for some of that, because those were such great games.
Yeah, they were.
he finishes that off with, he said he's also never had blue cheese, only ranch. And if you recall, we accused him slanderously of being a skeleton. And he says, I might be human or am in a skeleton. The world will never know. So we might never know.
Chances are he might not be a skeleton, but he has a skeleton. You know, if I were a betting man, I would say that.
There's probably enough bones in his body to average out. Yeah.
I have a confession.
We've got
to make.
Motorman.
Well, before you get into that, I just want to confess that I am part skeleton. You know, it's,
God.
I know it's a controversial
You didn't tell
thing.
me this.
I know. There was never a good time.
I feel betrayed.
I know.
I feel betrayed.
And I feel terrible. But it just never had the opportunity. It never came up, but it's true.
Hopefully the passengers can look past your defect and can forgive you for lying via omission to us this entire time.
I can only hope.
Motorman V says, YS, Yeezys. I don't know how you actually pronounce YS. Yeez? Geese. Geese is actually an awesome VidCon, my dude. Eventually, they dropped the bump combat system for some hack and slash gameplay instead, but the early ones are still pretty good. I've actually heard it described as a bumper car RPG, which is interesting.
You know, this I'll never have another chance to say this to anybody ever again in my life, and it's only barely related. But if you recall, one of the podcasts I listen to is called the Legacy Music Hour, where they play old school music and they talk about it. They have a thing called VGM karaoke, where they sing over, like they come up with lyrics and sing over a tune. And one of them was, I think it was to an East song. And like the refrain, or whatever the musical term is for it is, the chorus, it was, we're learning how to bump, got my homies in the club, something like that. But the idea was we're learning how to bump, and I'm pretty sure it was about East. It was a pretty catchy tune, actually.
That's pretty good.
I told you, I mean, it's not related at all, but I just had to say it.
It's just a cool story, bro.
You got me.
So I talked about this a minute ago. I said I did put out the Mega Minute, and it's the lewd angel is bullied by, or lewd angel bullied, whatever it is. It's the lewd angel one. And Carlos Rios comes in and he says, now this is the content I subscribe for.
Good.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, we're all about that lewd angels. At least I am. Yeah, I absolutely enjoy it. And on that same video, Jose Mata comes in and he says he just finished chapter 6, and I've got to say, it's super fun so far. I'm thinking I'll binge the rest now. Thanks for the recommendation. And I'm like, yes, excellent. It is actually one of my...
You've recruited another.
Yes, he will be part of the lewd angel strike force soon. It's one of my current favorites, actually, and it's really the facial expressions that I love about it. I feel like that makes an anime for me, like the art, a manga for me, like the art style is like so important.
Right.
Like,
I mean, half of it is art, so that's understandable.
Yeah, go figure. Like, I mostly read rom-coms, and I'm sure there are some shoujo stories that I would enjoy, but I can't get past the art. I can't look at it. It's just too hideous.
You know, I feel the same way, but I'm pretty sure that one of the manga we'll be talking about today as part of the main topic, I'm pretty sure that is a shoujo.
Well.
Or it might be the seinen equivalent. What's it called for shoujos? Where it's like older girls.
Shoujo AI? Yosai? Is it?
Yosei? I don't know. It could be.
Something like that.
I think
I'm not sure.
is fairy, like a fairy. Like I'd have to see it written down.
We will wrap this up with one of the quality comments that we've always come to do. Shale Shaleli says, thanks, Dad. And I said, I'm proud of you, son.
I don't know what that's in reference to, but, you know, it brings a tear to my eye to see some great father-son bonding.
Yeah, well, I'm glad, you know, he's gone off to college now, and so we're just... it's always great to hear him say thanks for all we've done for him.
The two dads, I guess.
Well, no, he doesn't thank you. He just says thanks, Dad.
I mean,
so
I'm not doing anything for him.
Me and his mom.
I gotcha. Well, anyway, on that note, I will harsh segue into an anime update segment. This is the last of my pre-show notes here. So I've been watching. I guess it's a segment now. I might not do it again because I'm running out of stuff to watch. But as I watch new stuff this season, I guess I'll talk about it. This week I watched just one new anime called Tsurune, Tsurune. And this is that archery one. Do you remember that? It's like the archery club.
Yeah, I vaguely remember talking about that.
Yeah, so at the time I thought this might be like kind of a Bishonen Fujoshi bait kind of thing, where it's like half the sports animes where it's like, oh, it's just guys, and then like the girls will ship them.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen episode 1 because I think only episode 1 is out. And you know, to be honest, I can't quite tell yet if it's going to go that route. It kind of still looks like it will. And I'll give it a couple more episodes because I think archery is cool. And I think especially, I think it's Kyudo is what they call it. It's like the judo, but for bows. You know how they have like that specific style to it where they wear like the hakama, which is like the dress thingy, and like the white shirt, and like you've seen in anime, right? Like school archery, how they have like it,
oh yeah,
it's like a tea ceremony, levels of like ceremonial positions and like movements and stuff. I always thought that's really cool.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty cool aesthetic. I like that, and like you said before, there's not a lot of archery focused animes, mangas, anything like that, but they are always in the back, like in a manga where it's like, oh, what club should I join? Because that's the stereotypical thing that every high school or middle school manga is about in Japan. Yeah. There is always like a panel or a page of the archery club. Like it seems like a very popular thing in Japan.
Sometimes even a character is in the club. But I mean, they never make a big thing out of it.
Yeah, like one of the side characters. Yeah, so it seems like something that you think would get more play considering that it's always in the background.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's at least one, maybe even multiple American football animes, and I'm pretty sure there isn't a single American football club in a high school in Japan. So you would think that they would have more centered around like their national sport. It's not their national sport, but it's like a national exclusive kind of sport. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I'm gonna give it like an episode or two more to see if it goes full like Bishonen garbage. But if it stays acceptable, then I'll keep watching it just because archery's cool.
Well, all the passengers, and myself included, are on the edge of my seat to see if you continue with it.
Hopefully, like I could even pick up like some skills on how to do archery, because I think a weapon would be pretty useful if I were to enter the manga translation battle.
Tom. That's great, Tom.
Pretty good.
Do you want to win 100,000 JPY?
Is it 100? Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah, that's about $1,000. Sure, yeah, I'm down for that.
Wow.
Sign me up.
I think you should sign up for the Manga Translation Battle, Volume 7.
Whoa!
Oh, man. This is the Digital Comic Association and Agency for Cultural Affairs. Government of Japan presents. Like, this is like an official Japanese government contest where it's basically translate manga and win a trip to Japan. Like, what more could you want? Yep. That's like the weeaboo's dream. Like, it's fantastic.
Well, I mean, the true weeaboo's dream, I feel like, would include a different government policy or government initiative as well. Increasing the Japanese birth rate.
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they just couldn't put it because this is a Christian contest, so they couldn't tell you that. But it's assumed.
I don't think it's assumed. Is. No, because last year one of the manga was a gay manga, like literally a gay love story. So I don't think it's very Christian.
Well, they're doing that to throw people off.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a contest that they hold annually once a year, and they have like 2 or 3 different manga to pick from. You have to translate a chapter or 2 depending, and you can enter for any or all of the manga, 1 entry like per person kind of, and then like if you win, like if your translation is picked as the winner, then you get prizes, whatever. You get
100,000 JPY, which is 100,000 Japanese yaoi.
I hope not. I would rather get a Japanese yen, which I assume is what that means.
Possibly. Yeah, let's see. There's a grand prize and a first prize. I never really understood. Like,
I'll tell you. So the first prize, each manga that they offer, so in this case there's 3, has one first prize winner. And then the grand prize is like the best out of the translation, 3. I think, of all of them. Yeah.
Now, does that mean there are 3 first prizes or 2 first prizes and 1 grand prize?
I think there's 3 first prizes and 1 grand prize. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Do you think you could win both a first and a grand prize?
I don't know, but I know that you cannot win 2 first prizes. So I imagine that you can't win a first and a grand. I don't think they've actually spelled it out one way or the other, to be honest.
They probably have the option in case they want to.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the fine print that it explains it. This is a good enough time to talk about it. I first found out about this about a week or 2 before it started. and that was way back when, September 7th. So I mean, or maybe even 13th. I don't know the timeline, but it was a while ago. And the only reason that's taken so long to do an episode on it is because it's taken me so long to translate one of the mangas. I think the picks this year are really not that great, so I haven't been very motivated to get my entries done. And in fact, I'm only halfway done with one entry. Initially, when I first heard about it, I thought, yeah, dude, I'm going to submit for every single manga that they offer. I'm going to win one of them.
How ambitious.
Nah. Like, one of them is a light novel, first of all, which I think is a first for the contest. I don't do that, man. That's too much text. I'm not a good translator. I can't do a whole light novel chapter. But the other two are manga, so, that's more reasonable.
Like you said, they came up with, you have 3 choices in to translate. Why don't we start with the ones that you're not doing first, and then we can go in? Yeah,
I was going to say that too. Yeah, so let's start with the light novel, and the extent of all we know about it is the blurb that they give us. Because I haven't read it, and you haven't.
It's Holmes of Kyoto, and it's from Mai Mokazi Yuki,
Holmes as in Sherlock, not like
Holmes. Yeah, it's got an L in there, but that's so hard. Like, how do I pronounce Holmes? Homies. Anyway, at the end,
Homies of Kyoto. It's about a rival gang rap business. I don't know what they're called.
The antique shop Kura can be found in Kyoto's Terramuchi Sanjo shopping street. High school girl Mashiro Aio. How do you pronounce that one?
AIO. Owie, something like that. I'm not good with diphthongs.
Anyway, Aoi ends up with a part-time job at Kura after a chance meeting the owner's grandson, Yagishi Shikuro Toshiba. Together, she and Kiriyoki Datira, the keen-minded Holmes of Kyoto, end up taking all kinds of strange requests that come into the shop.
So this could be actually cool. Like,
it sounds cool.
It's hard to mess up Sherlock Holmes as like a motif.
Well, you just ask NBC that because they did that new one.
Oh yeah, what did they call it? One like Holmes? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was the British one.
The British one was pretty decent.
It was pretty decent until I tried to rewatch it. It was great at the time, but the one NBC did, or the other English, the American version, was absolute trash.
Where Watson is like an Asian woman, it's like, that's kind of different.
No, it's a black woman.
What? Oh, I'm thinking of a different one then.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe they just have so many.
Either way, he's supposed to be a dude. Like, you can't gender bend Watson. It's weird.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century did it the best.
Okay,
he's like
that was awesome. That's basically an anime. That was an old cartoon. Yeah, they brought Holmes back to life. Is that what it was? Like he was frozen?
I think he was frozen. And Watson
was a cyborg.
Was he a robot or a cyborg?
Shoot, I don't know.
I feel like he was full robot. Maybe with the memories.
Well, he wasn't.
Man? At this point, we're just completely guessing.
He looked like a cyborg. Like he had metal arms and stuff, but like he had a human face, and he had like there were still skin, at least skin looking things. So I don't want to think that he's a robot in the sense of like C-3PO or R2-D2. I think you classify that as a cyborg.
Yeah,
if you have synthetic skin.
Well, what it is if you are at least part human, then you're a cyborg.
And I think his brain was.
I think that's what it was. So I feel like he had like a see-through brain shell.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Maybe
under his bowler hat or it's bowler hat, right? That's what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. We'll save that for the Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century episode.
What initially turned you off of translating this one?
It's a light novel. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, to be fair, the only thing that otherwise looks negative is that it looks like it might be too much like a romance kind of thing, just because the guy looks like a pretty boy.
It does, but I don't think it's... My initial gut feelings is it looks kind of like a shoujo.
Yeah, I could see that.
And the fact that they draw all guys that look very similar.
Yeah.
It's like the debonair type of prep school guy, like very refined.
I wonder how much of that is like the light novel metagame or
the cover metagame, like you mean?
Yeah, because like I have the ability with at least mangas to identify certain genres, like 4 comas or whatever. But
it absolutely is.
I haven't seen enough light novel covers to know what's the baseline. So is this? Do you think this cover implies like shoujo, like it might if this were a manga cover, or is the light novel style more like this anyway?
Oh, that's an interesting difference.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Because I feel for some reason that it's not as shoujo as it looks. And I might, like, once they announce the winners, I'm pretty sure they give, like, the first chapter translations up for free to read. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably check it out. Because, I mean, I'm a sucker for a good detective thing. I like it. So I think I would like it. It's just, it's a light novel, and I have such an aversion to them.
Plus, it's way more words than a traditional manga.
Yeah, I don't like reading in general. I'm kind of a brainlet.
We need to get you hooked on phonics.
Yeah, we do.
Well, we can look at this next one now. It's
I'm just looking at that title.
Miyu Yaku Bijin Yun Inayawa. Oh man, why don't you give the passengers the real pronunciation so if they want to look it up, they can.
Miyako Bijin Yawa.
All right, that seems good enough. This is from Yumi Sudo, and it's Kichi Osada is 26-year-old and unemployed. I like this already. I can really relate to this character.
Very relatable. Yeah. Really speaks to me for some reason. I don't know why.
A kindred spirit. Once he spots his former boss in the street, he runs away from him and hides in a bar where he meets Miyoko, a kimono-wearing Kyoto beauty. She likes ghosts.
Nice. Off to a good start.
Yeah, I know. She likes ghost stories and is thrilled to hear strange accounts involving Kichi's ex-boss. Kichi instantly falls in love with Miyako, but this is a story of melancholy tinged love, bizarre rumors, and sentimental breakup. Oh, I don't like that. And Kyoto encompasses all of these. The author, Yumi Sudo, chooses this city. Oh, this guy didn't translate very well. This is
right.
improper. Yeah, this is bad. This is a translation thing, but the description says chooses instead of chooses. Anyway, he chooses this city as the stage for this humorous, weird, and bittersweet story, released as a 6-volume omnibus edition. That means it's in one bus. So they got all of the pages plastered on the inside of a bus. So when you go in Japan, they don't have like newspapers. People just peel manga pages off of the side of buses and just read them there.
It's true. And they also have them page by page plastered up where you would normally see like subway route maps or like advertisements on buses.
Well, that's where they put most of their hentai doujins.
Oh, well, yeah, because they're high up so the kids can't see them.
Yeah. And on the side of buses, they always like to draw anime pantsu on buses and subways.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Oh, I'm not even joking. Yeah. Have you seen, like, there's a Orimo bus. Have you seen?
Yeah, but there's no panties.
Train and, I mean, I've seen them on cars at least.
Oh, and well, yeah, I mean, people can paint their car to be whatever it looks like. Yeah, I've seen some weird ones that involve creative use of like
the gas tank.
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen that too. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but I wasn't nearly as crass.
Well, I didn't mention anything. I just said it's creative use.
Well, it is.
Maybe they have a speech bubble coming out of it, and it's saying a JRPG diatribe thing.
Exactly.
Just to call back to last episode.
It's like the boxer shorts with the anime characters.
You sent me pictures of those. Yeah, who wants anime characters on their underwear? It's just weird, man.
Anyway, I like this. I like the art style looking of this one. I'm not crazy about the bittersweet part, but other than that, it seems like a cool. Yeah. It's like it says bizarre rumors and humor and strange stories. I like the ghost story type of aesthetic. It looks I really like the art style on it. It looks kind of like a creepy thing.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of reminds me of what is it, SZS?
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but maybe a little bit more grounded because that was really absurdist and surreal. But this looks like a mix of that and like maybe some other ones. I like the art style. Sounds like a cool thing. I'd probably read it if it was in front of me. This
is something like, given like the sad romance tags or whatever you would call them, that to me is just like an instant turn off.
Yeah.
I don't want to read anything like that. I don't even read happy romance ones because that's depressing enough because I'm a lonely NEET.
Aren't we all?
But I don't want to see bad ones like where the romance goes sour.
Yeah, I definitely feel you there. I've read a couple of the melancholy or the sad ones, particularly when I'm in a sad mood, because it's like the meme where it's like me reading or me listening to sad music while being sad or something like that. I've maybe read one or two that I think are actually good. I haven't been in a sad mood in a while, so I think I'd probably stay away from it.
Yeah, to me it seems like the same genre of the kind of people who like NTR.
No.
Where it's like like tragedy.
No. That's a completely different.
No. Don't
lump tragedy.
Don't try to cool my hot take.
Okay, you can't correlate tragedy to NTR. Like, this isn't...
Is NTR not a tragedy?
Yes, but it's like saying all death is murder. No, there's some just death.
No, it's not.
It's a square rectangle type thing.
I don't engage with people who use bad analogies as an argument.
You don't engage with yourself? Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
No, I was just quoting Scott. I don't know if you heard a recent Periscope or not, but...
Oh, no, I haven't heard that. That's funny. Yeah, well, he's said that for months.
That's his new thing.
His persuasion line. I like that. I'll start using that.
Yeah, I just did.
But yeah, so I mean, it could definitely be a bittersweet story without NTR and things like that. It could just be two people passing through life or something, like it could be a million things. It could have death. It could have anything like that, and sometimes I've read stuff that says tragedy, but like it's early on and side character dies or something and you're not even invested. So it doesn't always have to be really core to the thing. I think it's got potential. When it comes out, I might read it if I see it pop up on my feed.
You mean on your Barnes & Noble shelf as this gets officially licensed?
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes, absolutely.
If I actually followed through with my plan to translate these all, I would read it and I would probably have a higher opinion of it than I do with my initial judging. I haven't even read it like just for funsies because there's no point if I'm not going to have time to translate it. We should mention that we're doing this really late in the game, and the contest ends on November 5th. It's like they give you like a 3-month window to submit, and it's like, here we are, a week and a half, like 2 weeks before it's due.
Well, it doesn't really, we don't want more competition, so we don't want anybody else to do it. And it's not like, see, I had this thought when we first found it. If there's voting involved, all the passengers would want their flight to be the best flight.
Okay, interesting analogy, yeah.
and would vote for us, but
true.
Do we have anything more to say about Miyakobi and Yawa?
No, in fact, we said a lot more than I thought we would.
Yeah, see, I told you I'm a good conversationalist.
Yep, you can ramble like the best of them. So let's ramble on over to the real star of this show, the egg star of this show, you might say. I didn't plan that when I said the star of the show.
yeah, that was good. That flowed right off the tongue because this one's called Egg Star. It's from CG Toda, and it's a boy who lives on...
I was just going to say, it's all lowercase, which really bugs me. Like, it really, really triggers the tism, or however that phrase goes.
Really activates your almonds.
That's a different
Absolutely.
phrase, but it activates something, and it's anger, intense rage.
It blasts your butt.
Yeah, that one's closer to accurate.
It flusters your fanny.
It does, yeah. It really perturbs my...
Peters?
My butt.
Your peas. Peters your peas.
What's the manga about?
It's a boy who lives on a tiny planet with a flower as his only companion. He follows the flower's advice and gets on a comet that takes him to, get this, Japan. He makes friends, finds work, and overall, his life goes well. But one day, he hits a big wall. He turns 30. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, the wall.
He doesn't comprehend feelings that are normal to everyone else. He is disappointed in himself and no longer sees meaning in life. After going through suffering and doubt, what is the important thing that he finally finds? This author is renowned as an outstanding human drama writer, and this is his first long piece of work and written over 10 years.
That's kind of a bummer because there's kind of some spoilers in there. I hadn't read the description since September, whenever. So I've only read the first 2 chapters, which is what they give you to translate. I didn't know that he hits a big wall and he doesn't comprehend feelings. Well, I know that he didn't comprehend feelings, but I didn't know he gets depressed.
He seems almost not autistic, but maybe just the feelings part.
Innocent,
he doesn't. Well, it's beyond innocent. It's like since he grew up on a planet, like a tiny planet, all by himself with just a flower. He doesn't empathize.
This is inspired by The Little Prince, by the way.
Ah, see, that was my whole thing that I was going to comment on. Yeah,
that was your hot take? Nice. Hey, good.
Yeah, this is a direct ripoff of The Little Prince. Like, completely. Like, down to the flower, down to everything.
No, there's no flower in The Little Prince, is there?
Yes, there is. Yeah, that's his little flower.
I read the first few chapters of The Little Prince to get into the mindset of the translator for this, but I never finished it.
It's great, and it's actually very similar, and that's how the story's progressing.
Yeah.
In The Little Prince, he goes to the desert and sees the snake, and then he goes to the city and things like that.
Does he really?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. This is a direct ripoff.
What the heck?
And that's why it's like...
No, because I thought the whole Little Prince, it's like a dialogue between he and like a dude.
No, so in The Little Prince, he starts on the planet, and then he goes to other planets, and... Oh, I think the snake might be in one of the author's other works.
Well, the snake, I know that he draws a snake in like chapter 1 eating an elephant, and it looks like a hat, and he shows a picture to everyone to say like, oh, are you woke or are you a stupid adult? Can you see that it's an elephant eaten by a snake?
Which is, yeah.
Oh, wait a second. I just scrolled down. I have it open. Here's a picture of a planet with a flower on it. That's the chapter I stopped on. Yeah, I think I might finish this before I
The Little Prince. Oh, it's an excellent book. It's actually one of my favorites. I read it at a really interesting time in my life where I related to a lot of the things. And actually,
bro, that's deep.
Yeah, and Netflix made a movie about it in 2015. It's an animated movie, kind of like a Pixar thing.
Weird.
It follows it kind of decently, not really well, obviously because it's an adaptation and they changed the story. Like they changed the prince to a little girl. And they changed the flower to an old man. Yeah, it doesn't make...
Are you just making a Netflix adaptation joke, or is this real?
No, this is real.
Oh, wow. They really do mess up every adaptation then, don't they?
Yeah, so the story of The Little Prince is a story that's being read to a little girl character in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So they changed... Yeah, so like now they add a meta story. I don't know why.
That's like the dude who ROM hacked the original Legend of Zelda to make Link a girl for his daughter to play as.
Yeah, it was some executives like, we need to hit more check boxes in this diversity, and we need to make it more relatable for some reason.
What he said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who can fault him for that?
Netflix knows what gets the views.
Exactly. Yeah, it's what is it? Sugar Crush Spice or what? No, that's Crunchyroll, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot what that's called, but I think you pretty much got it right.
I got the spirit of it.
We should do an episode on that when it comes out to trend surf. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the trend surfing would have been done a little while ago.
True.
When it was having a bunch of conflict, but
anyway, so right now I have like half of this one translated, half of chapter 1, or no, all the chapter 1, which is like 17 pages, and you've read it, right?
Yes.
All right. So here's a really unique challenge. I think this will be for anybody listening who wants to try their hand at this. This is my number one piece of advice. You got to get the sound effects right. And this is something that I haven't quite figured out yet because there's so many sound effects, especially in the first few pages. Like that's really, I think, going to be a huge point difference between like the best winner and like, the runner up. I think it'll really hinge on that.
Yeah. And I mean, the Japanese are renowned for their sound effects like pomp and sploosh.
Yeah, definitely those. And they're also well renowned for their related dialogue, like "shoot your goo, my dude." But yeah, this one also, another trick that I noticed early on. There is a point where the flower says something like, he says different emotion types. Like we'll just say like happiness and sadness. They are capital T terms. They're like put in the quote brackets.
Yeah.
And which means that they're going to be recurring.
That's his stand.
Yeah, that's a stand name. Sadness. So that one's really. I think I'll even have to change my translations for them because they're kind of banal. They're kind of. They don't sound that great, the ones that I picked. But the whole idea is, I guess he doesn't know emotion. We kind of talked about that earlier a bit, hinted at it. Where it's like, and these are really fundamental emotions that he doesn't understand, which is really weird.
Is it is this directed towards kids? Because I don't think the Little Prince is kind of directed towards kids, but it has like really deep philosophical things more for adults.
I think it's a shoujo. Josei, that's what it is. So yeah, according to Manga Updates, it's a josei. Also drama, historical, and tragedy. So that's kind of sad. They've really picked them this year.
The Little Prince is kind of a tragedy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a story about life, so to speak, and in the problems that people face, and it does have that, but it's not a sad ending. It's just, you know, how life is tragedy. So
right,
there are things that we all deal with. We deal with loss, and you know, people. I was gonna try and make a loss joke into that, but
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like Lost is more like a comedy at this point. If we did unique thumbnails, I would say you'd have to do some form of Lost now.
For one thing that's not related even to the episode, it's just one off.
Well, we're not related to Bane posting either, and you know that's what we are.
Fair enough.
I like the first couple chapters because they are kind of lighthearted, but I feel like I won't like it once it takes a tragic turn. But I probably won't read it past chapter 2 unless I win and they pay me to translate the whole thing.
Is that what it is? Like, they're actually so they're looking for a full-time person?
Oh yeah, so let's go through the prizes or whatever. So the outline is step 1, you apply, which means you select one of the manga to translate, or all 3, whatever, and then you submit your entry. Step 2, initial screening. All entries will be reviewed by professional translators and the finalists will be chosen. Step 3, final review. The judging committee will review, blah, blah, blah. The finalist translations will also be posted on the website. So I think they pick 3 finalists per manga, and then they post them all. And then step 4, winner decided. First prize winners for each work will be selected sometime between January and early February. So I mean, they take a long time to judge these. I guess they get a lot of entries. I don't know. All winning translators may receive job offers to translate the manga series from their entries, plus the opportunity to debut as a professional translator, and various other wonderful prizes.
Wow.
A single grand prize winner will be selected to receive all of the above, plus an invitation to attend the award ceremony in Tokyo with a free plane ticket.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
And here's the funniest part. So you can enter as a solo person or as a group. And it says, when the winner is a group that consists of multiple persons, only one ticket will be given.
Well, I'll buy my own ticket. How's that? Or you can buy a ticket.
Well, I'm not submitting as a group.
Oh, why not?
I'm not submitting as a group.
I don't get to go?
Why would I submit you as a group?
It's the big guy for you group. What do you mean? This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
You've never been part of translations, other than the only time that you help with translations is when I
cleaning.
say, oh, help me out, come up with a term like for this. I say, like, what's a sound effect for a meteor flying past? You say pomp every time it's pomp.
Hey, I come up with some of the best names, like Bun Drop.
Yeah, I think that was your greatest single contribution to the translation.
I also do cleaning,
efforts.
and you say...
Sometimes.
You say...
but these don't require cleaning.
Mr. Japanese government man, I need my producer's San to come and produce the audio content that we're going to produce in Japan. So I can't believe you totally gotta. I'm gonna have to buy my own ticket. Maybe I'll go without you.
I mean, even if we were a group though, and I know you're memeing, but logistically speaking, even if we signed up as a group and I won, they would only give one ticket. So you would go solo or like alongside me in parallel, or I'm just saying, like, if you were in a group, I don't see how that would affect your ability to come along.
Well, I wanted my name up in lights.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, which reminds me, I might be entering under a pseudonym because, you know, I don't want to tie myself to this when I win. And if in the rare chance that I do win, for the record, I want to state that I may or may not be planning a trip to Japan around that time anyway.
Oh, I see.
So if I'm inexplicably in Japan, I didn't win the contest. I'm just going to go. And if I don't go, then, you know, I guess plans fell through. So just throwing that out there.
You were going to go with the real winner, me.
I mean, yeah, I bet. That would be pretty funny. I guess I don't have a whole lot more to say about it, but on the website, it's on myanimelist.net. On it, if you just click through enough, you'll find like different articles, which are like basic tips from like the judges, basically. Mm-hmm. And if you click through to previous, like they have number 6 and number 5 up there, like the contest numbers 6 and 5, they will have commentary on the winners. So that'll like
that's cool.
Keep you up to date on some of the pitfalls and stuff, and like what other people did right and what they didn't do well. So give those a read if you want to enter, because you might pick up some good stuff.
They have some blog posts. It looks like a whole article on translating puns, which I know we've talked about before. And Japanese puns are like one of the most difficult, but also one of the most rewarding things in the Japanese language.
Right,
they love puns, and I don't think they're funny, but I think they're clever enough. The way I don't want to fedora tip, but I think Japanese puns are more not intellectual, but better than English puns. I think it has different context.
No, I think what it is just there's so many homophones, or close enough, in Japan, because they have so many fewer sounds to play with. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, because there are a lot of words that can sound like a lot of other words. But according to this article, because I did read it earlier, he says that in Japan they actually laugh at puns, even though we kind of like groan at them, or just silently appreciate them at best.
Or just like smirk, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. But I mean, Japanese...
I don't know if they actually laugh, though, because in all of my animes that I've seen, they don't laugh.
That's true.
In fact, they groan.
Well, that's part of the deadpan to get the audience to laugh. Who knows?
Could be. But yeah, that's the manga translation battle.
Well, speaking of comedy and puns and everything like that,
and the manga translation battle, don't forget why we picked this one. This was one of the manga selections for the third manga translation battle.
And by this, he means the Manga Minute. And the Manga Minute is something that you've probably already seen. Old school anime at this point. That's how you know you're getting old. This is Nichijou.
Well, if you're a Zoomer, you haven't seen it yet, so this is new content.
Oh, well, I am that 30-year-old Zoomer, so it's always fun to rewatch.
That's not a thing.
Nichijou is, what does that translate to? My ordinary life or my everyday life? Is that it?
Yeah, it's just like Nichijou is like everyday life kind of thing.
In fact, The Ordinary Life of High School Boys has the word Nichijou in it, and they both came out like around the same season, I think.
Yeah, I think they did come out around similar times.
Which are both actually funny Japanese animes.
Yeah.
Now, it's so rare that I like laugh to them, but Nichijou and High School Boys is one that I legit like, you know, you got a little tear every once in a while because it's so it's so funny.
Multiple laughs per episode. For the record, I didn't read it. I watched what I've seen of it.
Me too, but we did decide to do this because we mentioned it. It was the third annual championship for the translation battle.
Yeah, so 4 contests ago. It's just to do another reference to it. Remember that podcast, Translator Tea Time, that I referenced like many episodes ago? Mm-hmm. One of the girl hosts on that, she is the one who won with Nichijou. And she ended up...
Oh, really?
Yeah, she ended up becoming the official translator for Nichijou. For those, like, one person out there who doesn't know what this is, Nichijou is like a daily life comedy, slice of life kind of thing, following mostly a few high school girls, but also some side characters, like an 8-year-old super scientist who's made like a robot companion thing. And, you know, I'm sure there's other side characters and stuff too.
Yeah, the setting is a strange school where you may see the principal wrestle a deer or a robot. However, there are still normal stories, like making a card castle or taking a test that you didn't study for. The art style is cute, but mixes with extreme expressions and action sequences for surprising comedy bits.
Yeah, and that's something where, to be fair, I haven't read the manga, but there's no way that it's superior to the anime, because the anime has beautiful moments of animation, just like stunning, literally like mind-blowing. That was a misuse of literal, I apologize. Figuratively mind-blowing.
So I have to counter-signal a little bit, just that, because I haven't read the manga part either, but something like Cromartie High School was better as a manga, I believe.
Okay,
it had better
that
pacing.
probably doesn't have all the great, like, I guess Sakuga
Probably
moments.
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have the great, like, there's so many great action sequences and just iconic scenes from Nichijou that absolutely, if you haven't watched it, I definitely read it and or watch it. There's maybe we can talk about like our favorite scenes. One of mine is I don't even want to spoil it, but it's the girls get pulled over by a police officer, and
I was gonna say that one.
yeah, and they're like, we need to check your bags, but one of the girls has like a rom-com manga that she's been
No, it's like yaoi stuff.
oh, is it? Yeah, geez.
Yeah,
that she's been drawing.
She always draws like yaoi manga, but nobody knows. So to also misuse literally again, Miho is literally me except for the yaoi stuff, where it's like she hides everything. Like remember that story where one of my classmates, one of my friends, stole that notebook of like Japanese stuff? It's like that.
Yeah, but the police officer's like, we need to check your bag for like counterfeiting that's going on, and she's just like, she acts like she's turning herself in. She's like, cuff me, like, because I can't let you do it. And her friend Yukiko is like, or Yuko is freaking out because she's like, oh my god, you actually did it. You're the hardened criminal. Like, but she just doesn't want. She can't let anybody see her crazy yaoi, however you pronounce it. Fan art.
Yaoi. And then she like puts like a dollar bill in front of her, like a 1,000 yen note,
like a bribe, yeah.
And then Yuko's like, oh no, she actually has a counterfeit right there. And then the police officer's like, is this a counterfeit? She's like, no, it's a real one. He's like, I don't know what's going on. And eventually, I think he grabs it, right? Is that what sets off the events?
Yeah.
And she assaults him, like knocks him out. A police officer, mind you.
Like a roundhouse sumo wrestling kick type of big action sequence where she like drop kicks him and flips.
Well, no, she drop kicks two other entities. And like during the scuffle, the bag goes flying and all the papers scatter everywhere. And like her friend Yuko picks one up and she's like looking at it. Of course, you know, Mio, the girl's freaking out. She's like, my life is over. So she like kind of calmly actually like walks up to Yuko, and then she like does a weird like grab her leg and like flip her, and like it's a really well animated move. I don't know what kind of wrestling move it is.
You've probably seen it in GIFs or WebMs around.
Yeah. Well, this is way before WebMs. So you've seen it in GIFs on Angel Fire.
GIFs.
And and then like a goat comes up later and like has one in its mouth, and she does the same flip to the goat. I love the goat. Like there's like, it's
a recurring character.
Yeah, because there's like a rich boy who's like the rich pretty boy or whatever, and he rides to school on a goat, which is, it's wonderful. I love it so much. The weird thing is, like, I don't think his family's even rich, right? Because they're farmers. That's why he has a goat. But he even has like a butler and stuff.
See, I don't know if he's supposed to be rich or if he's just preppy. Like, I think that's the thing where...
Well, he has a butler.
Oh, does he? Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Look, I think it might just be like an inversion on the rich boy trope. I don't know if we're even supposed to look into it as deeply as we are now.
I don't think so.
Even kind of shallow. But it's funny. He's a good character. Really, I think my favorite scenes are the ones with Mio, the blue-haired girl.
Yeah, because she's like, autistic, just like us.
Yeah. Yeah. And like most of my favorite scenes with her involve the notebook or her drawings getting into someone else's hands.
Because you're such a yaoi fan, right?
Well, no, that's not why. It's because I can relate to having deep, dark secrets that you don't want to be released to the public.
They love to like play with the tropes and exaggerate them. And there's a character who's tsundere. The thing is with traditional tsundere, like she'll freak out and maybe slap somebody, but like instead of that, she pulls out like actual weapons, like a rocket launcher, and is like, as soon as she's caught like in a situation where the boy she has a crush on thinks that she's being dere or like loving or anything like that, she's like, don't misunderstand me, and like fires an RPG at him and blows him up, like just all the time. And those
are well animated too.
Yeah, I mean, like, the high budget.
Everything's well animated. It's insane.
It's a very high tier AAA.
Like you would never see something like that nowadays. Yeah, it is. There's this one scene with dogs. the little scientist girl, I forgot her name, is walking the cat. I also forgot his name, but it's like a normal Japanese dude name. It's funny in that regard. She's walking him on a leash, and like they see two dogs, and they're both scared of dogs. And then, dude, I can't even picture. And I don't even know how to describe it, but like one of the dogs gets behind him, and he's doing like this hilarious flip thing where he's pivoting on his hind feet, but it looks like imagine if you were to like slam your whole hands and your whole arms on your keyboard, kind of like that kind of grand motion. But he's just like flipping back and forth, like doing 180 turns. It's hilarious. You need to look it up. Maybe
I'm gonna go
agency,
watch this.
Put a link to the clip.
I'm gonna go watch it again. I'm gonna download it.
It's so funny.
I mean, buy it officially.
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, and like the dogs are just like playing like so playfully, and then like the scientist girl and the cat are scared that they're gonna get bitten by the wild dogs, and then the two main schoolgirls come up. And they're like, what, are you scared? They're not going to bite. I forgot who goes first. I think Yuko goes to pet one. And then like he just bites her head. And then they do this in a few different scenes where her reaction is like she shoots a laser scream. And that's another very well animated moment. It's so good. And basically it plays out. Mio also gets bit by another dog. And she does the scream thing too. It's such a good show, man. And I really can't emphasize enough that the animation is worth it. Like,
there's also a robot girl who's got one of those big twist ties on the back of her, like a wind up doll. And then eventually, the second season when the OP changes, now she becomes an actual girl, I guess, or maybe it's just that she starts going to school. So like in the first half of the series, the robot girl just stays at home with her lowly scientist creator, who's another good character, but then I guess she starts going to school with all the girls, so she becomes like a main character. So there is like character development as well. There's comedy, cute girls. Now this is actually a question that I haven't prepared for, but we probably already know your answer. Who's best girl?
To be honest, I don't know them all well enough, but I would just have to go with Mio right now, just because she is literally me, bro.
It's like my own clone with Robotnik.
Oh yeah, now neither of us will be virgins.
Yeah.
Is that from like the Sonic comic or something? What is that actually from?
Yeah, somebody took like a Sonic comic, and then like there's like 80 of those different panels that they've dubbed over with memes. Yeah. He says, "Hey Knuckles, how's it going?" And Knuckles goes, "Oh, holy shit, a talking animal!" Like,
we need to do an episode on Sonic comics,
dude. We've got a bunch of good stuff. Yeah, well, just to finish up best girl, I think Yuko's the best girl. Just main girl, I guess. But it's been so long since I've seen it, I don't know.
That's a real normie take. She's like the main girl.
I do have a condition mentally where I tend to go for main girl.
Fair enough.
I've kind of explained this before, because normally the first girl that they introduce is the first one that's going to win.
Generally.
So why would you get invested into a girl that you know is statistically going to lose?
Because she, by losing to the main character, she is single for you, the listener, the watcher.
Ooh, that's a spicy take. But what if I'm self-inserting as the MC? Which I frequently do.
Well, there is no MC in Nichijou, so checkmate.
That's why it's great. And I don't think, other than the tsundere girl, there's no romance in it. And she's barely,
and
she's
fine.
not even in it a lot. It's great.
Good.
Which is actually great, because I don't watch a lot of things that are not rom-coms.
Yeah.
And this is one that I can absolutely recommend, stands on its own, even without the void-filling romance part.
Right. Now I've got kind of my own hot question to pose. Is this moe? Like, I think it is, but I since it's good, I'm tempted to say it's not.
Oh, that's a good question. Let's compare it to like classic moe of Lucky Star.
I haven't seen that though, so I can't really talk to it.
K-On! Have you seen K-On?
A bit of it, yeah. And that one definitely is moe, but some people also say it's good.
See, I saw the first season of K-On! Like 30 episodes. It's not good.
I would say
it's like good art, good characters, but the story is just so boring. And I waited for like the whole season. I'm like, oh, so when do they play instruments?
What about this idea where K-On! Relies on the moe, but Nichijou doesn't seem to make it a focal point, even though it is a huge part of the aesthetic. It doesn't seem to be like a crutch or even vital.
I think that's a good, and I don't know if it is. It's got moe moments for sure because it's cute girls.
It's definitely like cute girls, doing cute stuff.
Yeah.
Or sometimes doing suplexes or whatever.
Well, I think that's why, like, since it does break that character, it doesn't take itself seriously. K-On! Will never break character because it's supposed to be real life. Yeah, this is absurdist. It's not surrealist, but it is absurd. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I think that's accurate. Well, we got any more comments on this? No, I think that was pretty much it. I'm all big brained out. I've expanded all the knowledge from my galaxy brain related to Nichijou, and I think all that's left is to tell us where they can find more exciting content. Well, you could find more exciting content at YouTube / actually, I don't know if we have a custom URL yet. I think you need a certain number of subscribers. That we have like 1 million subscribers on the YouTube channel, but I think you need like 1 million and like 2, so we need more subscribers. Well, the username is big guy #4 letter U. You can just look it up, look up the flight plan. We might be we might have spammed their servers enough to get near the front page if you just search the flight plan. Who knows? Maybe. Also, the podcast is on anchor.fm. You can find it on any of your normal RSS feed searchers, like Podcast Addict. That's what I use. Let's see. The manga, it's on MangaDex. I post all the RAWs and stuff. Or not the RAWs, but like all the downloadable scans on gab.ai. Or I guess it's gab.com now. And I should use it for news, but I don't. Just theoretically, one day I will. And I think that's it. But I do want to say the new manga, which hopefully will simul-release it with this episode. We're going to have to do some coordination there. It's called Yokoso Genkai Shuraku A. And you can find it, on the MangaDex. Just look for our name, Big Guy 4U, #4 letter U. Hopefully, I looked it up when I first found it, and it did not seem scanlated. But it's been a while. It's been a couple of months, so maybe someone sniped it. I don't know. I've never laid claim to it, so it's possible. I should probably look into that before I release it. So if it's not out by Monday, chances are I've either failed and have earned a 4th Sudoku tally, or somebody sniped it, and then I'll cry myself to sleep and go with my backup, which Chapter 1 is basically done of a backup. I did Chapter 1 of a backup one like 5 months ago. Well, you know what they say. You pack your secondary parachute before you pack the first one.
I'm not familiar with that expression, but it sounds like a real one.
Yeah, I just made it up.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Well, it's convincing. Well, you might need that parachute since it seems like it's about time to crash this podcast.
How many parachutes are we going to give to the passengers?
Well, since we are aiming for no survivors, probably 0. And in fact, I hate to tell you, but there aren't any parachutes on this podcast.
Oh man, that would mean we have no survivors. Is that correct?
Yeah, with no survivors. And in fact, they expect all of us in the wreckage.
They expect all of us in the wreckage, brother.
They expect all of us in the wreckage, brother.
Have we started the fires?
Yes, the fire rises.